The Arctic, one of the planet's last frontiers, and one that's rapidly changing. In the 21st century, the Arctic is more than just a frozen wilderness. It's a theatre of global interest, where geopolitics, technology, and national security converge. The shift in ice is bringing new opportunities, but also new risks. Beneath the melting layers of permafrost, the Arctic is transforming from an isolated icy expanse into a stage for global competition. Potential trade routes are opening up, resource opportunities are emerging, and the major players on the world stage are watching closely. Among them, Russia and China are stepping up their Arctic presence, which has spurred the United States to fortify its own position to safeguard its interests in the region. Today we'll examine how the United States Department of the Air Force is taking on this challenge in one of the toughest environments on Earth. We're talking relentless runway upkeep, aircraft de-icing, 24-hour surveillance, and the interception of hostile aircraft, all aimed at bolstering America's Arctic front lines. First, let's set the stage. The Arctic has become something of a strategic gateway, with 8 nations holding territorial claims in the region now jockeying for influence. These nations include the United States and Russia, and it seems that China is also getting in on the action, but more on that in a moment. As Arctic ice continues to recede due to rising global temperatures, untapped reserves of oil and natural gas are becoming accessible, and new, shorter shipping routes are emerging. But these changes don't come without consequences. The shift brings significant risks, as nations that once relied on the Arctic's natural barriers for security must now adapt to this new reality. Consequently, the region is becoming a focal point for potential security threats, which is forcing the US and its allies to adapt. Russia, for one, isn't hesitating. It has revived tens of Soviet-era military bases, ramped up air defences, and increased its Arctic presence significantly. Meanwhile, China, despite its physical distance from the Arctic Circle, has declared itself a near-Arctic state, and is investing in partnerships with Russia, such as the Polar Silk Road Initiative, that aims to create an ice-free shortcut between Asia and Europe. Together, they also conduct joint military exercises in the region, and with resource opportunities in the Arctic estimated to include over 90 billion barrels of oil, 1,670 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, and $1 trillion worth of rare earth metals, it is clear to see why they're eager to establish their presence. With all of this in play, the US can no longer afford to stand still. In response, the US Department of Defense's 2024 Arctic Strategy has laid out plans for enhanced surveillance, reinforced infrastructure, and a focus on rapid response capabilities. The stakes couldn't be higher, as a lack of action would risk compromising both American and Allied interests in this increasingly strategic region. Operating in the Arctic demands an exceptional level of preparedness. Intense cold and heavy snowfall mean that keeping US Air Force bases operational requires specialised equipment and well-drilled, coordinated efforts. With temperatures falling as low as -60 degrees Fahrenheit in extreme winter conditions, maintaining operational readiness is a constant battle. Snow and ice are formidable opponents for anyone operating in the Arctic. One minute a runway is clear, the next it's covered in ice, transforming a routine mission into a logistical nightmare. Ground crews are the unsung heroes here, working tirelessly in sub-zero temperatures to keep runways operational. Armed with specialised equipment and machinery, these teams clear snow, apply anti-icing compounds, and perform friction testing on the runways to ensure they're safe for takeoff and landing. In short, if the call comes for an immediate mission, that runway has to be ready to go. Aircraft de-icing is just as critical. Before any plane leaves the ground, it undergoes a rigorous de-icing process. First, a thorough inspection of the aircraft surface is performed to locate any ice or frost buildup. Then the de-icing team steps in, spraying heated fluids, usually a mix of propylene or ethylene glycol, onto the aircraft. This solution melts any ice and keeps it from forming again, especially on key areas like the wings, control surfaces, and sensors. These details may seem minor, but a patch of ice can disrupt an aircraft's aerodynamics, compromising both crew safety and mission success. This meticulous process is a vital part of readiness in the Arctic. Every airman involved is trained to recognise and mitigate cold weather risks, ensuring that personnel and equipment remain mission capable, even when temperatures drop well below freezing. Operating in the Arctic means dealing with conditions that most people could hardly imagine. With this in mind, the US Air Force doesn't just focus on equipment, it also invests heavily in training its personnel to handle the extreme cold. Airmen learn how to survive in these environments and to recognise the signs of cold weather injuries like frostbite and hypothermia, which are ever-present dangers in and around the airbase. To protect against these threats, each airman is outfitted with state-of-the-art cold weather gear, including insulated uniforms, gloves, and footwear designed for sub-zero conditions. Some training exercises are conducted using simulators, and others in real-life Arctic settings, giving airmen hands-on experience with the cold weather equipment they'll use in the field. These drills include emergency scenarios and simulations of limited visibility conditions, so airmen can learn to operate their equipment and work as a team under some of the harshest conditions on Earth. This isn't about surviving in the Arctic, it's about thriving in it, ensuring that every mission has the best possible chance of success. The Arctic's vastness makes radar surveillance a critical component of US defence strategy. The Air Force and Space Force operate a network of radar installations to monitor Arctic airspace, allowing them to detect, track, and if required, intercept hostile aircraft or other airborne threats, moving into the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone. The Tin City long-range radar site in Alaska stands out as particularly strategic due to it being positioned close to Russian airspace. Perched on a craggy rise along the westernmost edge of the continent at Cape Prince of Wales, a few thousand feet above the Bering Strait, this sophisticated piece of military technology, ensconced in ice, is just 48 miles from the Russian mainland. In fact, on a clear day, you can actually see Siberian mountain ranges from the highest part of the facility. Tin City acts as a first line of defence, constantly scanning the skies for unidentified aircraft, its long-range radar spinning methodically all day and every night, shielded from the elements by a golf ball-like dome. Interestingly, the radar site at Tin City is one of 15 in Alaska. All equipped with cutting-edge technology, these radar sites provide 360-degree coverage and are staffed 24/7, 365 by specialist teams ready to alert US Command of any potential threats. This system is essential for maintaining situational awareness and ensures that the US and their allies can react quickly to any potential breaches in Arctic airspace. The US Air Force is also levelling up in the Arctic. With a revamped fleet tailored for the region's intense demands, it's not just about the trusty F-16 Fighting Falcons anymore. The cutting-edge F-35A Lightning IIs are now stationed within striking distance of the Arctic Circle, operating out of places like Eielson Air Base in Alaska. Here, 2 squadrons with a hefty lineup of 54 F-35s are on duty, ready to handle whatever the high north throws their way. And just down the road at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, their high-altitude partners, the F-22 Raptors, are stationed ready for action. Now these aren't just any planes. Both the F-35 and F-22 are 5th-generation aircraft, built to operate at dizzying altitudes and in punishing conditions. They can take on the Arctic's chill thanks to sophisticated systems that keep them in fighting form even when the thermometer dips. And with stealth capabilities and some of the most advanced avionics on the planet, these aircraft are mission critical for the defense of the region. One F-22's story is especially impressive. After a disastrous failed takeoff that left it grounded for 5 years, it's finally back in the air at Elmendorf, thanks to some high-tech repair magic. I've covered all the details of what goes into restoring these 5th-generation fighter jets in a separate video, which you can find at the end of this one and in the link below. Let me know what you think. Canada too plays an essential role. Royal Canadian Air Force CF-18 Hornets fly from US bases in Alaska and Greenland, backing up NORAD's mission to protect North American airspace and keeping a close watch on Russian aircraft movements. And it doesn't stop there. Alaska also hosts regular Arctic training exercises that give the US and its allies a chance to practice in environments that mimic real encounters with near-peer adversaries. These aren't just exercises, they're essential practice runs for real-world missions. From air bases to its radar installations and its aircraft, the US is doubling down on its commitment to the Arctic. Rising tensions in the region mean that the Department of the Air Force's role isn't just about having a presence, it's about making a statement. The message is clear. The US is committed to securing this vital region, ready to respond should tensions escalate. This mission is also about creating a resilient defense over America's northern borders. With state-of-the-art equipment, continuous training, and unbreakable vigilance, they are shaping the future of Arctic defense, ensuring that the US and its allies are prepared to meet any challenges in the far north, especially if anything goes south.